In this video, you're going to learn how to code a port scanner with NMAP in Python. Now, if you didn't know, NMAP is probably the most popular network scanner. However, NMAP does much more than basic and advanced port scanning. For one, it has the very powerful NMAP scripting engine, or NSE, which allows you to automatically use NMAP scripts to run different vulnerability assessments. And I might get into just that in an advanced penetration testing with Python course. Or, of course, you can explore the topic yourself. My point here is to open your mind to the possibilities enabled by combining your Python skills with NMAP's capabilities. Alright, so first, if you don't have the NMAP library installed, you should open up a command prompt or terminal and do a pip or pip3 install. So pip or pip3 depending on how you actually use pip, Python NMAP. I need to tell you that there are many Python libraries for NMAP, so please make sure to install this exact one. Now, to make sure it's been installed correctly, so I'm not going to run this command because I already have Python installed on my system. So to make sure it is installed correctly, let's open up a Python shell. So Python, and then type import NMAP. We've got no errors, so we're good to go. So let's exit this. Alright, let's go back to the code editor. Before we go into coding, I need to tell you that to be able to use the Python library in NMAP, you need to have NMAP installed, of course, on your system. I already have NMAP installed on my system, on my Windows instance here. But if you don't have NMAP installed, just go to nmap.org and download the version suitable for your operating system. So once again, two things you need: the NMAP scanner installed on your system and the NMAP Python library. Now I assume you have both. Okay, now in this video what we will do is to code a scanner that will take an IP address and scan for ports 21, so 21, 22, 80, 139, 443, 8080. Okay, which usually represent a few popular services. Now, in my Visual Studio Basic here, we're gonna start by importing NMAP. Okay, we'll also need the sys module for command line arguments that will actually be providing the target as a command line argument. So we'll say import sys. All right. Now we'll start by creating a variable called target, which is going to be taken from the first command line argument. So we'll say target equals string of sysargv1. All right. And then we're going to create a list for the port numbers we want to scan. So let's say ports equals, I've set 21, 22, 80, 139, 443, and 8080. Then we need to instantiate a scan variable in NMAP. So scan, let's say scan underscore v equals NMAP port scanner, and that's it, no arguments. And then we simply scan all the ports we provided in the port list, and for that we're going to use a for loop. But first let's actually display a nice output to the user. So let's say print on a new line scanning target for ports 21, 22, 80, 139, 443, and let's say also 8080. Dot 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 new line. And then we actually do our for loop. So we'll say for port in ports, let's say port scan is scan underscore v. So our scanner scan, our scanner that we've instantiated, scan target. So we scan the target that we provided, and we also need to stringify the port number. Okay, And that's it. What comes out of this loop is a dictionary with a lot of stuff in it. And this is actually where the beauty of Python coding kicks in. Now, from the dictionary, we only want to state the port. And to understand everything better, let me show you the entire process in a Python shell. So we're gonna open Python. So we're gonna actually try to replicate these in a Python shell to actually better understand how NMAP works. So we're going to import NMAP, and then we'll instantiate a scanner. So let's say scanner equals NMAP port scanner, like that. And then we're going to provide a target. So in this case, we'll just simply provide it over here. So scanner.scan. And let's say Yahoo or yahoo.com, and also the port we want to scan, which is also provided as a string. So I'm gonna hit enter to actually run this, and the response is going to be a dictionary, or the result of this is actually going to be a dictionary, and it might take a few moments to actually complete the entire scan. Okay, so like I said, this is going to be, the result is going to be in the form of a dictionary. So how do I know that? So by simply actually doing type scanner.ip, and we can see class dictionary. Alright, so let's look into this dictionary. So if I do scanner_ip and hit enter, we can see the entire dictionary here. So since this is a port scanner, we only want to know the state of the port. So in this case, we're looking for port 80 and the state is open. So what we actually need is to navigate this dictionary and only get this state open from here. And for that, in Python, we're actually going to use tab autocomplete for easiness of purpose. Now, if you don't have autocomplete in Python or in the Python shell, try doing a pip install pyreadline. Okay, and that's actually going to enable your Python autocomplete. Alright, so we need the state of the port, like I said. So for that, we're going to go scanner_ip, and then we look into the scan. Alright, and then the IP, we have to specify the IP, which in this case is 98.137. So we go into the scan and then scan IP. So 98.137.246.8, and then we have to specify the TCP, and then 80, but not as a string, but as an integer, and the state. So we want to look at the state of this port. Okay, and the result that comes out of this is open. So let's just copy this and go back to our code. And in the for loop, we're actually going to say print port is, and our variable. So this is going to tell us if the port is open, closed, filtered, etc. Alright, then we get out of the loop, and to further expand the capabilities of our code a little bit, let's also print if the host is up or not. So let's say print, let's actually do it a line below. So print on a new line, say host, and then target, and then another string, and then our paste. But in this case we don't need, so we go into the scanner, we go into the scan, and then we go into the target here, so scan target, and then we look into the status. So we want to see if our host is up or down, and then we don't need the port, of course, status, but we need the state. A few minor corrections here. We do not need to hard code this IP because this is going to be taken from the target. So the target, which is the command line argument, and then we also need the port here, the port number, not 80, Okay, and then this is not scan V, but this is the port scan. So the dictionary is the port scan. And we save this, and then we open up a command prompt and navigate to the location and run it with Python NMAP. And then let's specify, let's scan the local host, so nobody's gonna be offended by scanning myself. We should see the output coming quickly. And there you have it, the magic of combining Python and penetration testing. And like I said, there is much more to it than what I've shown here. You can greatly expand the capabilities of this script by using NMAP's scripting engine, and also implement other tactics that will help facilitate your penetration testing, bug bounty hunting, and other types of cybersecurity assessments.